Hello and welcome to another trip report where it is a fantastic sunny afternoon here in Aberdeen, Scotland. I'm taking a novelty flight today. I'm flying with Flybe to the most northerly airport on the British mainland. We're off to Wick. Enjoy the video. Aberdeen Airport is only about 5 miles from the city centre of Aberdeen, and like me, you're probably best off taking one of these frequent and fast buses. They take about 20 minutes to get to the airport. The airport can get really busy in my experience, especially during the morning and evening peaks. However, I was flying in the middle of the day and it wasn't too busy. Flybe's check-in area also includes these kiosks where you can select a seat and print your boarding pass. There's a much needed and very overdue terminal transformation project in progress at Aberdeen, and when I passed through, it was still very much in progress. One of the most welcome developments of the terminal transformation project is the addition of the Northern Lights Lounge. You can get in here, as I did, with a priority pass or certain types of business class ticket. One of the things I liked most about this lounge was the fact they had a decent food spread. Now, that's not always the case with third-party lounges in airports, but it's certainly the case here. There's also a decent range of teas and coffees, and a selection of soft and hard drinks. One of my favourite features of any airport lounge has to be whether it has an apron or runway view, and the Northern Lights Lounge certainly has one of those. There's lots of really interesting spotting to do here at Aberdeen. There are plenty of oil and natural gas platforms off in the North Sea, not far away from here, so there's lots of helicopter flights to and from those oil and gas rigs. There are even some opportunities to spot some light aircraft too. Today's flight is on a small Jetstream 41 aircraft, and so it doesn't leave from one of the larger gates at the front of the terminal. At the north end of the terminal are a few gates used by Eastern Airways, who are actually going to be operating this flight today on behalf of Flybe. Boarding is done through this strange corrugated iron structure and then straight out across the tarmac to the aircraft. If you do have a larger item of hand baggage, it should go into the valet cart as displayed here. Hiya. This British Aerospace Jetstream 41 is laid out in a 1-2 configuration, which is pretty standard for any aircraft of this size. Today I'd assigned myself seat 9A at the very back of the aircraft on the left hand side. However, it soon became apparent that the flight was not going to be full at all, and so I moved to seat 10D on the right hand side of the aircraft, which is a double seat with a lot more space. For a small turboprop aircraft, the legroom on this Jetstream 41 was pretty good. There's also a seat back pocket for you to store anything that you want to, a reasonably sized tray table and a cup holder. Before takeoff, something I'd not seen since I was a kid, the cabin crew handed out boiled sweets. After the engine started, we pushed back under our own power and made our way to the runway. After takeoff, we were treated to a display of Scotland's ever-changing weather. I'd said at the start of the video that it was pretty sunny, and it was, but it was very stormy by the time we managed to take off from Aberdeen. I'll give you the flight details in a moment, but it's important to remember that this journey by road takes around 5 hours and by train and bus over 6. Just 93 miles as the crow flies, this flight cuts out a significant dogleg on the mainland. We'll only get up to 8,000 feet today, and it'll take just 25 minutes. Despite the very short time in the air on this flight, there's still time for in-flight service. The cabin crew handed out soft drinks and snacks, and in case you're wondering what was in that plastic bag that you see me carrying around, it was this, my healthy option for the day. It's easy to get a sense of the sort of people that usually make this journey, if the magazine that was handed out on boarding is anything to go by. As well as The Spectator, which is a very conservative magazine, there's also Flybe's own Flight Time magazine. I wonder how many people actually read it on a flight this short. Flybe were recently purchased by Virgin Atlantic, who saved them from collapse. This is a very extensive route map, and I wonder how many of those routes will survive in the years ahead. It's a simply gorgeous day above the clouds, but we're only up there for about 10 or 15 minutes, by which time it's almost time to land, and again another boiled sweet was handed out by the crew. It's difficult to imagine taking a flight of 93 miles anywhere else in the world and coming across the wide range of weather that we experienced on this flight. Stay tuned for a very wet landing. The far north of Scotland is an undervisited and surprisingly beautiful place. The approach into Wick was spectacular. It also takes us over the site of former RAF Killimster. Wikipedia tells me that this airbase was the first place that gliders were used in World War II by Allied forces. Taxiing in, I see a very unusual sight, a Nigerian registered Dash 8, but what's it doing here in Wick? Well, I conducted my own research, and it turns out that this aircraft was being ferried from Funchal, Madeira over to Ottawa in Canada for storage and dismantling. I've actually found a video of the aircraft in its dismantled state, and I've linked it in the description text below. This particular flight cost me £97 one way. Now that is quite a lot of money, of course, for a flight of only 25 minutes. However, you should definitely bear in mind that this journey shaves hours off the travel times via road and rail. Personally, I took this flight just for the novelty and because I thought it would make a pretty cool video. There aren't too many opportunities left to fly in jet streams around the world. We're lucky that Eastern Airways still has a few left flying. As far as I'm concerned, this was money well spent. Scotland, where I've got my hotel room sorted for the night. Anyway, I really hope you enjoy coming with me on this very novel trip report. Please make sure that you're subscribed if you're not already to get more content just like this in your inbox. But until next time, I'll see you around.